You ready?
Yeah.
Candyman.
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 I came for you.
Oh!
Come with me.
What up, Deadites? It's your boy KJ
And your girl Crystal.
from Scary Horror Show.
What's up, y'all?
We are coming live from the Horror Cave like we always do with another review of a classic movie, Candyman.
Candyman.
That's right. So, Candyman is on its 30-year anniversary. A little background information from your boy KJ. This was the first movie I went to go see by myself. That's right. Young KJ in 1992 went to National 7 on Old National Road to see Candyman, and I've been hooked on horror movies ever since.
Nice.
So, Candyman, as I said, this is 30-year anniversary. It starts off with the main character. What's her name, Crystal?
Helen.
Helen. She is in the university doing some research, trying to find out some things about this infamous person, Candyman.
Urban legend.
So basically, she does a lot of things that she probably shouldn't do. Like, she goes to the Cabrini Green Projects after talking to another character played by Vanessa Williams, just to try to get information about Candyman, try to find things out about Candyman. And again, it's things that you probably shouldn't do. You know, she's a young Caucasian woman, and she's in one of the roughest projects in Chicago, just asking people questions and taking pictures.
She's not by herself, though. She goes with her partner, who's also, they're working on their dissertation, trying to get their PhD, trying to debunk this theory or urban legend about Candyman. Her best friend and partner, her name was Bernadette. So she was with her. She wasn't by herself. But still,
Two
women going to the projects by themselves,
looking like the feds.
They did look like cops,
look like the police, look like the feds. They just asking questions, and she just runs awry of a lot of people. This one particular guy's like, "Oh, you looking for Candyman? You found him," and
I know,
puts out.
Yeah.
But we kind of jumping ahead. Let's give you a little bit of background on Candyman. So Candyman, 1800s, was a slave. Became free. His father got wealthy, and he would take and paint pictures of women. So
pictures in general.
Yeah. So
he was a good artist.
Yeah. So one of the white people in town got him to paint a picture of her daughter, and of course, you know what happens if you don't.
They fell in love.
This is still the 1800s, so obviously the father was furious about it.
I think she got pregnant. Is what they said. She got pregnant.
So obviously he was furious.
Yes.
He got some people to hunt Candyman down. He got people to beat Candyman. They cut off his arm, sprayed honey all over his body, and just let the bees sting him to death. So ever since then, the spirit of Candyman has gone out and just extracted revenge. And how you get him to extract revenge on you is by saying his name in the mirror 5 times, which we are not going to do there.
No.
We learned our lesson. We're good. So, Crystal, why don't you tell them what happens when Helen does that?
She's like a non-believer at all. So her and her best friend partner, they're in the mirror in the bathroom in Helen's apartment, and they say it. She was like, "Come on, let's say it." And she was like, "Okay." So at the 4th time, they say it together, and then the best friend stops. She was like, "Nope." She stops, and then Helen, she was like scared cat. And she goes and says it. She says it the 5th time, and then nothing happens right then and there. But later on, things start to slowly she starts seeing strange things and have visitations of things from Candyman because of that.
Yep, and again, another character in the movie, Vanessa Williams, has a child. She goes to visit, and they become, I wouldn't say close, but they do form a bond there, and
she visits her for her paper or dissertation because she was
in the project.
Because there was a woman that was supposedly killed by Candyman that lived right next door to her. She was her neighbor, so that's why she goes to visit her to get some information.
Yeah, and what we were talking about earlier, the guy that actually attacks Helen's like, I hear you looking for Candyman. He was just a drug dealer, leader of a gang rather, and he just was using the Candyman name. But again, as Helen finds out, Candyman is actually real, and he takes her on just a nightmare journey.
Makes her life just a living hell.
Yeah.
He starts killing people and making it look like she did it.
Yep. Her friend Bernadette gets killed.
The doctor, when they locked her up in the psychiatric ward and she was having one-on-one with him, he didn't believe her, so she was like, I'm going to call his name again. I was like, why are you doing this? She calls Candyman's name again.
And he brutally kills the doctor.
Him so horribly.
Now, one of the things that lands Helen in the first amount of trouble is Vanessa Williams' character, her baby gets kidnapped and the dog actually gets decapitated.
Candyman does all this.
Yeah, Candyman does all that, but he basically makes it look like Helen did it.
Yeah.
So she's found... she wakes up in the lady's apartment with the lady screaming and the dog's blood all over the place. And the lady just naturally thinking that
she's took her baby.
Just starts attacking and just beating the crap out of Helen. And Helen picks up a knife.
I don't know why. She picks up the murder weapon that was used to cut the dog's head off. I was like, never pick up a murder weapon from a crime scene, please.
Yeah, exactly. Stabs Vanessa Williams to get her to calm down. And while she's over her with the knife, right then, the police kick in the door.
And it looks like she's attacking her.
So that locks her up, and that leads to, as we said, her being in the institution, Candyman breaking in, killing the doctor.
Right.
Candyman killing the doctor that allows Helen to escape. So when Helen escapes, she goes straight to her home, to her boyfriend's house.
Her husband.
That was her husband, excuse me. Well, what he was doing, he wasn't acting like no husband.
He wasn't acting like a good husband, no.
But anyway, what was his name? Trevor, right?
Trevor.
Yes.
He was a college professor at the university.
So she goes in, and Trevor's new girlfriend, which actually happens to be a student of his, is paying their apartment.
Pink.
So she's like, what are you doing in my house? Now, mind you, she's supposed to be in a mental institution.
Right.
So the girl looks and she's like, oh my God, and just kind of falls out.
Starts crying and stuff. Trevor! Calling Trevor.
And Trevor just runs in his bathrobe like,
I know. But see, Trevor apparently
what are you doing here?
Trevor was apparently cheating on her. And then when all this stuff came about, her getting in trouble with the police and looking crazy, he just kind of like, oh, okay, I'm going to move my new girlfriend in now.
Watch that lust, ladies and gentlemen. So, she breaks out after finding out that Trevor and the old girl was sleeping together, realizing she can't trust him.
Right.
Then she has another encounter with Candyman in the projects again, because for some reason she keeps going to the projects. But she has another encounter with him, and he's like, if you come to me, I will release the baby, and we'll rescue the baby, and everything will be fine.
Yes, she basically like trade your life for the baby's life.
So she gives herself to him, and they're building a bonfire. So she goes to the bonfire to find the baby because the baby's in there crying.
She heard the scream, baby crying and screaming.
So she goes in, and the little boy all he sees is the hook. So he's like, this is Candyman.
Let's burn him down. He gets the whole neighborhood together.
Yeah. So they set the
they started a fire on the bonfire.
Yeah, start a fire in the bonfire area. And she's trying to rescue
She's
the
already
baby.
inside. They don't even know it.
Yeah. Candyman's in there. And she leaves with the baby. He's like, no, you can't leave. And he hits something and makes fire fall on her. And she just catches all on fire. But she's trying to get the baby out to the mother. Safety.
And she was about to give up. And then she looks up and she sees the mom looking all, distraught. Yeah. So she just fights and keeps pushing and climbs her way out the fire, covering and sheltering the baby from the fire and things falling down on her.
All her clothes
her back is burned, her hair is burned off.
But she makes it out, and she's able to give the baby to Vanessa Williams' character. And we think she's gonna be okay because she's like moving and still looking.
She was just burnt up, but she was still moving. But
apparently she did not make it. She died. They had a funeral for her. At the funeral, Vanessa Williams and all the people from the Cabrini Green projects walk up,
pay the respects,
and just like her husband very disrespectfully brings the girlfriend
the
to the
mistress,
funeral.
the other woman to the
I'm
funeral.
like, bro, why would you even do
you should
that?
tell her to stay at home.
But he gets his, and we'll get into that. So, they pay their respects, and the little boy drops the hook on the casket.
Yes.
So then we go to the next scene. Trevor is obviously distraught in the bathroom because he still loves his wife.
He felt bad after how everything went down.
Yeah.
So I think he kind of still, because the girlfriend was like, Trevor, what are you doing in there? And hurry up and help me come cook dinner. He was like, I'll be out in a minute. I was like, well, man.
She's like,
man, his wife just died. She didn't understand. She was like, okay, on with the next. You know what I'm saying? That was his wife. He actually cared about her. Give him a minute to grieve.
Exactly. But so he looks in the mirror. And he's like, oh, Helen. He says her name 5 times, and she appears.
Yep, with a knife in her hand, with a hook in her hand.
Yeah, and she's like, you look scared, Trevor. And just guts him, and the movie goes off with mistress looking at Trevor's dead body,
she comes in the bathroom screaming with the knife in her hand, and she was using the steak to cook dinner. So I was like, karma at its finest.
Mm-hmm.
And I was told like she killed him.
Yep. So I mean that's basically Candyman in a nutshell. I love this movie. It's a great movie. I already told you the history. So we're going to go on and give the score.
Oh, wait, though. I want to go over some history facts real quick.
Oh, my bad.
No. Just I did a little research, and, at the end where he's with Helen and she goes back to the projects, and there's a scene where there's just bees all throughout the movie because that's how he was killed, by the bees. So it turns out that I thought that was like CGI, but it's not. That was actually real bees.
Oh, wow.
They covered their bodies with pheromones to protect them, so the bees kind of didn't mess. They were honeybees, so they don't really sting like that anyway.
Okay, gotcha.
And they covered their bodies with pheromones so they wouldn't get stung by the bees. So they kind of like, just kind of crawling on over.
So the scene with Candyman where the bees were all over his face, that was really
on his face and his mouth. They said they put a dildo down to protect his throat. So bees were actually coming out his mouth. Bees were on her face. Candyman requested an extra bonus. So if he got stung by any of the bees, it was $1,000 per sting.
Oh, nice.
He got stung 23 times, y'all. So he made $23,000 just for getting stung on top of his salary.
I would have to put that in my contract as well because I do not like bees.
Very smart.
And also, Crystal, this movie has a famous director.
Oh, yes.
Famous writer.
Yes, it was directed by Bernard Rose.
Okay.
It was written by Bernard Rose and also Clive Barker, who
another master of horror.
may remember from, he was the writer and director for Hellraiser.
Oh, nice. Okay. Okay, so the horror comes full circle.
Yeah, they're all networking together in the horror community.
Hellraiser, Candyman, 2 classics.
Yes.
So,
Final score time?
yeah, final score time. Why don't you go on and give yours first, and I'm going to give mine.
Well, this was a very classic movie for me as well. So I really like this movie. I just like how they talked about Candyman, and he was still kind of just angry about what had happened to him, and that's why he got angry with Helen, because she was trying to debunk his history, trying to prove that he wasn't real. So that kind of made him mad. He was like, "You're trying to get people to deny me, so you're going to pay for that." So I really respected that. He wanted people to know who he was.
Wanted people to fear him
because he was still angry. So just a good movie all around. Everybody did a great job. I will give it 3.5 knives.
Wow, okay, so she's going to give it 3.5. I'm going to go way higher than that. Like I said, this was the first horror movie I went to see by myself on National 7, classic movie theater if you're from Atlanta. But I'm going to go on and bump it up to 4.5.
Nice.
Just because of the history, and like I said, it hooked me on going to see horror movies. Yeah, it's one of my favorites. So 3.5, 4.5, very good. Guys, it is Halloween. We're going to drop a whole bunch of stuff for you guys.
Yes, get ready.
Yeah, so follow us, like, comment, and subscribe.
Please.
Follow us at The Scary Horror Show on Instagram and on Twitter now. Check us out. And until next time, this is your boy KJ.
And your girl Crystal.
From Scary Horror Show.
ScaryHorrorShow.com